Rarely in the video game industry does a video game actually come out and become an instant classic almost immediately without nostalgia ever being a factor. Games like BioShock, Red Dead Redemption, Halo, and Half-Life all come to mind, all of them pretty action and heavily oriented. But what about puzzle games? Generally a more niche genre, can a puzzle game come out with the same fanfare as all these other titles mentioned above? Valve released Portal in 2007 on PC and Xbox 360 in the Orange Box collection, and with it, a ton of praise, accolades, and memes about cakes for years to come. But why is Portal, a puzzle game about just creating portals, so well regarded by anybody who's played a video game? Let's dive into the small bite-sized experience and dissect Portal for what it is and why it's so special even to this day. If you like these kind of deep dives into video games of all stripes, shapes, and colors, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it, and when I become the next Mr. Beast, you could say that you were here first. Now, with the shameless plugging out of the way, let's fire up our Portal creation device and walk on through why Portal is still a masterpiece in 2022. When looking at puzzle games as a genre, not many have broken out of the niche to become a household name. Myst is one, but it's sheerly because of the fact that it was the first that was any good. The Witness was pretty dope and talked about by a lot of video game pundits back in the day. But in 2022, who's really talking about it now? Valve broke the mold with Portal with 3 different aspects that make it stand out above all of the puzzle games. Its tone, its mechanics, the learning curve, and its quasi-story. To begin, let's talk about what you actually do in Portal. You make portals. Utilizing 2 different color portals, you, the player, must make your way through each individual room, opening doors, pushing buttons, moving cubes, and using the world around you to make it through the test chamber. It starts simple. You move blocks to push buttons, later incorporating a static portal, with the other side moving between a few different locations. You're introduced to the act of going through portals at this stage, and you kind of just do a few rooms with that, and after that, you're given the portal gun to actually create one portal of your own, with the other still kind of being static in the room. Once again, performing a few tasks in this manner, you gain access to creating both portals by yourself, and the leash is then taken off. With the ability to create portals, you can now start playing with physics in the world, utilizing inertia to launch yourself and objects throughout the room, pushing buttons, lifting elevators, clearing rooms, shooting little laser balls into little laser sockets in order to get something else to move. Now, if you're watching this and played Portal before, you're going, Brendan, we know what Portal is. But what made this game so successful is not what you actually do, but how you're introduced to each individual concept and implicitly begin learning what the game actually wants you to do. Think back to math or science class. You learned a theory and how to solve a problem. You're then given some tasks that work to cement the new concept into your implicit knowledge. You're able to perform said task without even thinking soon after that, just after a few practice runs. That is the exact technique Valve used to get you to learn how to play Portal. Teach a concept, give you a few practice problems, and then move on to the next. It's a building block effect that teaches mechanics and solutions to any problem that the game will ever potentially throw at you. As you get further and further into the game's initial 19 test chambers, the more these blocks build upon each other, culminating into the finale of Portal, which we'll discuss here in a moment, where you use every bit of knowledge in the game that has taught you so far to make your way through the facility and essentially to the final boss. This ability to drip feed mechanics and obstacles to a player is what makes, and personally what I think makes Portal stand out as a game for many people. Its ability to ease anybody into your mechanics and make the player feel smart in their own right, like how they solved a puzzle in their own way, does a ton to compel people to move forward, solve problems, and thus reach to the end of the game. In short, the game teaches you the stuff and makes you feel really smart if you actually learn the concepts it's trying to teach you. So it allows Portal to be both good for new players, casual players, and hardcore gamers as well. There's something to be said for the game's basic runtime to being under 4 hours. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that there's a lot of bloat in the gaming industry nowadays where you have a ton of shit to do and none of it seems to make any sense. Coming to games like Portal or Gone Home, these 2-hour experiences that come in, take a little bit of your time and get out, especially in my older years, has been really refreshing as I'm able to actually complete games that are just a perfect narrative or a perfect experience in their own right without having to spend hundreds of hours of side content and leveling in order to actually see the best parts of the game. This may just be a personal opinion of mine, but the fact that the Portal runtime can basically be beat in 90 minutes like I did in this run through, or up to 5 hours if you're really struggling through learning all the Portal stuff, it feels really good, honestly, and shorter runtimes aren't necessarily a bad thing, so don't let that scare you off. With the mechanics of Portal being clean and the learning curve of Portal actually being really streamlined to make you learn everything it has to teach you and make you feel really smart for fucking doing so, is one of the key aspects of what makes Portal so good. But what people most often talk about in Portal is its quasi-narrative, so let's go ahead and hop right into it.
euthanized your faithful companion cube more quickly than any test subject on record. Congratulations.
On a narrative front, Portal can be best described as a story that is shown and not told. Relying on environmental design, small details in the level, and reading into the words and cadences spoken by the antagonist GLaDOS is all you have to go on until the big finale. But let's stop right into it. You awake in a closed-off room with a 1-minute countdown timer, some catchy elevator tunes over the radio in your room, and no way out. A friendly robotic voice known as GLaDOS comes over the radio, telling you that testing will begin in a moment, and once the timer goes off, a portal opens for you to run through, instantly introducing you to the game's main system of problem solving, walking through portals. You're not told what the tests are for and why you're testing or even who you are. You proceed on your way. Guided by GLaDOS, she explains the various systems you'll be working on, and she's very interested in watching you test. As you move through the various test chambers, you pick up hiccups in GLaDOS' voice, stutters, alterations to what she's saying. At the same time, an observant player will soon realize that in every observation area of the test chambers are completely devoid of humans actually watching you. You're also followed by creepy robot cameras, which you can knock off with portals, which is pretty fun to do, and she yells at you for it every time you do it.
Of all authorized activities, do not destroy vital testing apparatus.
You gain full access to the portal gun in test chamber 2, and you get the orange portal gun in test chamber 11. And from this point on, the tests become more and more dangerous, with poison on the floor and lightning balls that can kill you. As you move through the chambers, you still learn more and more about GLaDOS and how she's kind of fucked up, and you can obviously tell something isn't right. But you press forward as she eggs you on with the promises of cake. You reach test chamber 16, where you're not only introduced to the friendly yet deadly turrets who apologize when you kill them and tell you to say hello before they shoot you.
I don't hate you.
But you also find a hidden room behind some panels where someone was attempting to escape, scribbling things like "the cake is alive," "run," "escape," and "help." Something easily missable and yet so poignant and gives a ton of insight into what's actually going on. After being strung on by GLaDOS like a crackhead with the promise of crack at the end, why was this guy trying to escape? Why is the cake a lie? Why are we writing inane details and worshipping cubes? Well, let's press on. You enter chamber 17, where you're given your only true friend, the companion cube. Or the same block that you've seen time and time again, but this time with a heart on it. GLaDOS wants you to bring this cube with you all the way to the end of the chamber, as it's needed for the tasks ahead. While going through the trials and tribulations with the cube, and you make it to the end, only to have GLaDOS tell you that you have to then kill the companion cube by throwing it into the fire in order to move forward. While dumb and obviously not a real friend, there's a sense of loss when you send this beautiful, heart-filled cube to its death in the incinerator down below. GLaDOS congratulates you for killing the cube and what she calls your only friend, both ridiculing you and making you feel bad at the same time for killing the cube. As you continue forward, the tone and verbiage used by GLaDOS becomes a bit more sinister until you reach test chamber 19. It's here that GLaDOS promises it's the end, and once this chamber is done, there will be a cake and a party at the end for you.
The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
However, if you remember the writings or even the most popular meme known to man, you know that this is complete bullshit. The cake is a lie. I said it. There you go. You test your way to the end platform only to be met with a room full of fire. GLaDOS, very politely, thanks you for your testing and informs you that you will now be incinerated along with the portal gun, and you've provided her a ton of data and she thanks you for your time. However, you still have your portal gun, and using the very tool given by your malevolent death dealer, you create your own portals, escaping imminent doom. GLaDOS calmly asks you to come back, says sorry for trying to kill you, continues to try to lure you with cake at a party. The mix between threats and apologies is baffling, comedic, and really kind of sinister, and you can tell she's obviously lying, as GLaDOS is known to do. Using all these skills learned in every test chamber beforehand, you delve into the depths of behind the scenes of Aperture Science, and you learn that you truly are, in fact, the only human here. After navigating the rat race of the facility, you're face to face with GLaDOS, who poops out a core, and doing what any normal human would do, you throw it in the fire, much like you did to your only friend, the companion cube. Doing this was supposedly GLaDOS' morality inhibitor, now allowing her to outright kill you, as she admits as she did to the rest of the humans in the Aperture Science facility with toxic nerve gas. Using portals and inertia, you slowly dismantle the cores off GLaDOS, using this little rocket launcher fucking robot and shooting portals to hit her right in the face, and then grabbing her balls and throwing them in more fire, and killing her core by core. She literally falls apart after 3 or so cores, and the facility's just explodes. You awake to the outside world laying in a parking lot, clinging to life, only to be drugged back into the facility where you belong. We fade to black. Now, Valve is known for this type of storytelling with the show and don't tell approach, and with Portal, it works just absolutely phenomenally. It's obvious something is off with the whole thing, from not seeing any sort of humans to this GLaDOS just talking in your ear and seeming really quite sinister, even for a robot. But it never requires the game to actually, at any point until the end, say, yes, GLaDOS killed everyone. Yes, she will kill you too. Instead, you're left for your own inferences you can make around the world around you. What also stands out about Portal is the tone of the entire game. It's comedic and dark, both at the same time, threading this line of absurdity and reality. The dark humor of GLaDOS mixed with the robotic, calm tone. Her continuously trying to help you get through these chambers as well as sending you to your imminent death. It's dichotomy after dichotomy, which makes GLaDOS really one of the best antagonists I've ever seen in a video game. It makes her inherently creepy as a robot. It fits perfect with the setting and the actions of the game, having the feeling of this untrustworthy narrator throughout the entire time you're playing. Even when sending you to your death of fire, humor and seriousness is injected into every line.
Congratulations. The test is now over. All Aperture technologies remain safely operational up to 4,000 degrees Kelvin. Rest assured that there is absolutely no chance of a dangerous equipment malfunction prior to your victory incandescence. Thank you for participating in this Aperture Science computer-aided enrichment activity. Goodbye.
As you escape, this robot is apologizing for trying to kill you, lying to try to get you to come back and fall into the fire in your own accord. For a robot, she is still mimicking kind of what humans would do, albeit very unsuccessfully. And it all culminates with one of the best and most memorable credit scenes I've ever witnessed in video games. It literally has stuck with me to this day, 15 years later, with GLaDOS congratulating you on winning while still throwing some shade for killing her, but thanking you for all of your testing and hoping you enjoyed your time at Aperture Science. The connecting it with Half-Life as well is a fine touch by Valve, in my opinion. For a game you can beat in 2 hours, or like I said, was about 90 minutes in my case, there's so much just injected and put into each area of this game, making it an instant classic and one of the most memorable games by millions of players, myself included. Now, if you haven't played Portal, it's normally pretty dirt cheap on Steam or on the Xbox 360 arcade, and as well as basically on anything you can ever play a video game on. If you haven't played Portal, even in 2022, it's still well worth your time about 15 years later. And like I said, it's normally pretty dirt cheap because it goes on sale pretty fucking often. So it's definitely worth the pickup to have in your repertoire of gaming. To me, if you miss out on Portal, it's like missing out on BioShock or Halo. It's just one of those seminal games that I feel like everybody needs to play, especially if you enjoy the medium at all, to see what storytelling in a puzzle game can actually really truly shine at. Portal is an amazing game, and I absolutely adore it. But enough of my inane ramblings. I want to know, what did you guys think of Portal? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you made it this far in the video, I feel like that you're pretty obligated to hit that like button. Subscribe down below if you want more content like this, and hit that notification bell if you want to see whenever I post a new video up, generally about video games. In the next video, we'll be finishing this small series that is Portal with Portal 2, so I hope to see you guys there. As always, thank you to SUNRAX for his beautiful editing. He'll be leaving me for a month here real soon after this video goes live for some football shit or something, so I want to wish him all the luck, and definitely go check him out. His links are down below in the description. As always, until next time, my name is Brendan, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.